I am Geoffrey in a Tuscany campaign from the Italian Wars, a mod for medieval two total war kingdoms. We are in the year 1525 and have just taken Vienne in France. A French army under Captain M2TW puts Vienne under siege. Our faction leader, Podesta Pierro, is in the city with a small force. His plan is to harass the enemy army until relief arrives.
God will help the faithful prevail! We attack! Units, await my orders!
So here's our faction leader, Podesta Pierro, with his general's bodyguard. And our mounted crossbowmen leave the city's walls to skirmish outside and harass the enemy army. You can see the enemy army in the distance. They are slowly moving away from the city walls to avoid crossbow fire from the walls. They are about to deploy in that hill in the distance. Our mounted crossbowmen approach them with the intention to harass them, but we have to be very careful because the French have some very capable archers in their army. So at the moment we're skirmishing out of range, trying to provoke them to attack. Our cavalry now we've come within range, and an enemy heavy cavalry unit has been provoked to attack our mounted crossbowmen. Our cavalry is skirmishing away. More French cavalry approaches our cavalry. We are outnumbered almost 2 to 1, and we don't have enough units to fight outside. And so the plan for now is to inflict as many casualties as possible on the enemy while waiting for relief. So our mounted crossbowmen come again closer to the heavy cavalry of the enemy. They have to be very careful not to be charged. So the enemy heavy cavalry charges out. We have to skirmish away very quickly. The French knights are about to catch up with our mounted crossbowmen. And they've just caught up. And now there's a little bit of hand-to-hand fighting. We lost a couple of men. We've already lost 7 or 8 men, but the enemy has also suffered casualties. The French knights attempt another charge. We just managed to squeeze past them, and now they're chasing us. As far as possible, we must try to make them to come near to our walls so that they come under crossbow fire from the towers. We have also some medium cavalry, some lancers that come outside. Seeing them, the French knights pause, they hesitate to advance further forward. They form this triangular formation and attempt another charge. They almost catch up with us once again. We just managed to skirmish away. Really, only just. It was very close. Our medium heavy cavalry is for the moment preparing an attack. On the other hand, to conserve numbers and avoid taking risks so early in the battle, they all decide to move away, especially seeing that all the rest of the enemy knights are coming to help the ones that spearheaded this attack. And so, seeing that our cavalry is skirmishing away, the disappointed French knights stop their advance and pull away from our walls. This is all very good so far, very good behavior from the AI, really staying away from our walls as far as possible and responding to our skirmishing only so far as it has a chance of being successful. So we are skirmishing back out. The French knights are torn with indecision whether to retreat or charge back. So they lost a couple of knights there. And seeing that we've come really close to them, the French knights make a turnabout face and charge the mounted crossbowmen, who just manage once again to pull away. Our spearmen, our mounted spearmen come out, lancers. Now the enemy cavalry came under fire from the walls, and finally they were routed. But more enemy units are coming up to help them out, including some French archers, some heavy cavalry. So it seems our plan to draw the enemy nearer to our walls for the time being is working. It seems the entire enemy army has decided to move to this side, but at least they're doing it in a relatively coordinated way, which is very nice. It's the right thing to do. They put the archers at the front, but our cavalry is too far away for the archers to shoot. The archers are now skirmishing back for some reason. It seems the French have decided we're only playing a game of cat and mouse. We're not going to stand and fight. So they're slowly moving back once again away from the walls. And once again they've changed their mind, seeing that our cavalry has come closer. So the archers try to take position again. Their cavalry, their heavy knights, attempt to charge. Our mounted crossbowmen, our cavalry inside the walls move closer to the towers so they can mount the towers and fire at the enemy cavalry outside. And seeing all that, the enemy knights move away once again. And so this seesaw movement, this back and forth exchange of fire, this charges and counter charges and counter skirmishing will go on for a while. This is the main theme of the early part of the battle. So once again our mounted crossbowmen are outside, and the enemy knights have come close to the walls, perhaps by accident, whether to be in the dead zone or just by chance, it's hard to know. The enemy archers now are ready to open fire at our cavalry, and so our cavalry cannot come too close. So the enemy archers are skirmishing forward. Now is the time to man the towers. We have 3 towers on this side, manned by crossbowmen, and now also the gate towers are being manned. Our mounted crossbowmen once again take refuge inside the city walls, behind the city walls. The enemy cavalry just manages to catch up with them. Once again they fail. Very, very close. And now the enemy knights are underneath one of our towers. Quite likely they're being targeted by crossbows from that tower, as well as possibly from crossbows from the gate towers. But they don't move away. We can have a look. There's instead more enemy cavalry coming this way, and they're also being targeted from the towers on this side. But being heavily armored as they are for the time being not suffering any casualties. They cannot decide whether to move forward or move away. So you can see we've put crews on all the towers. Now the enemy army is moving in force. This is very nice to see. No piecemeal attacks in waves. The entire army moves for this side. And this is also in our favor because now the towers can hardly miss. We're bringing cavalry on this side to man these towers. We're also now sending infantry to the walls. It will take some time to get to the walls, but now that the enemy is under the walls, now is the perfect time to bring missile troops to fire at them. And so here they are. There's a unit of crossbowmen on the right, and a unit of handgunners on the other side. So here are the handgunners. They are firing at this archer unit that's deployed underneath the walls. And our crossbowmen here are firing at the enemy cavalry. For the time being, the French knights are brushing off the crossbow bolts, but they start to suffer a few casualties. So a few knights have been slain. The French knights reform. Part of the reason they're not moving away is that because of all the movement so far, their horses are getting tired, so they're trying to rest their horses, but it's the wrong place to rest the horses. So the casualties are now mounting. Our crossbowmen are racking up kills, and these are not just any kills, these are French knights. The handgunners on the other side have routed that unit of French archers. And the French seem to have made up their mind to retreat away from the walls. They do so slowly, and they are still under fire. So the enemy units are slowly moving away. These pikemen are especially slow. Crossbowmen and handgunners continue to fire at the enemy units, and the French are also under fire from the towers. The shadows grow long. It has been a long day. So far the battle has been in our favor. We've lost just a handful of mounted crossbowmen, about 15 mounted crossbowmen, and that is all. The enemy has suffered much heavier casualties. And so our mounted crossbowmen are moving once again towards the gate with a mind to go outside and continue their skirmishing. One thing that our cavalry did not notice is that as the enemy pikemen retreat, because of the difficult pathfinding, they've forgotten some men behind. So there are a few men here and there who are left behind. And among them is the ensign, the drummer, and a couple of other men. And these will get entangled with our skirmishers as they are harassing the retreating tertiary. So an infantry unit here has been routed. The pikemen retreat in relatively good order. They have been fired at by our crossbowmen, but a few pikemen, and I believe the drummer and possibly one of the ensigns, have been left behind. They are involved now in a melee fight with the cavalry.
Only intervention by the Almighty Lord or a military genius can bring us victory from this disgrace.
So there they are among the cavalry. Indeed, one of the ensigns is there, and he just killed 2 horsemen. He has some company. It's probably the drummer that's with him. And another guy. And the 3 of them killed quite a few cavalrymen. They killed about a dozen cavalrymen. There's another pikeman there walking randomly, cut off from the rest of the tertiary. And here you can see now the ensign, and I believe the drummer. And there's another guy hurrying up, another ensign, possibly another drummer. So these guys somehow got left behind. And we just realized that they were killing our cavalry, so we pulled the cavalry on to the side. And so the rest of the tertio is patiently waiting for the ensigns and the drummers and their companions to catch up. I guess they are more heavily laden than the rest of the men in the tertio, possibly. And so the enemy cavalry is making another move towards the walls, and our mounted crossbowmen skirmish back once again. The enemy has come under fire from our crossbowmen on the walls, and of course by our handgunners now. We've routed 1 unit of enemy pikemen. The enemy cavalry has come a little too close to the walls, perhaps they're trying to get into a dead zone. It's hard to know what the AI is doing at this point. It's behaving very well, but not as well as it could. This mod uses the Germanicus AI that's used in the latest versions of stainless steel. In fact, it's the really bad AI of Germanicus, which is one of the best, if not the best, battle AIs. And the enemy at least is keeping together its units, which is good. But it's very difficult for the AI to behave aggressively near the walls sometimes, in situations such as these with the sally out. And so now they've all bunched up in this area, and they've come under fire from our handgunners and the towers and our archers and crossbowmen, and they are being decimated. But the day is almost over, and hopefully that will limit their losses. The shadows are growing long, you can see them on the ground. seems the French are firing back, they're shooting back, they're firing some arrows. And they've killed a couple of our horsemen. So this is the 4.1 version of the mod. It has simpler looking units with simpler looking skins, but good AI nonetheless.
Only death claims any victories on this field today. The shadows grow long, and we are neither the vanquisher nor the vanquished.
So it says this is a draw. We lost 108 men. We killed 1,274 men. So we've done reasonably well. Podesta Pierro has done well. Our mounted crossbowmen did reasonably well, but the Tuscan crossbowmen on the wall did excellently. One of those units killed 421 of the enemy. And so we nearly cut the size of the enemy army in half. So the siege continues, and Migianino Detilo the Mighty comes to the relief of Vienne and Podesta Pierro. And now we have the upper hand, we have superiority in numbers, and we have also some good units. We have artillery and cavalry and pikemen. So Migianino Detilo the Mighty has arrived. Here he is with his bodyguard, looking very glorious. This is the army inside Vienne. They've decided now it's the time to sally out, and they're sallying out to join up with Migianino Detilo. We've brought out our artillery as well, our cannon, and the cannon is firing at the enemy. We've also brought out our skirmishers, and our skirmishers are harassing the enemy to make them approach the walls. And one of the enemy cavalry units attacks our pikemen that were blocking the way they move forward. So they're not pikemen, they are halberdiers, and they move forward. There are also a few pikemen.
The battle is in our favor.
Our skirmishers are skirmishing. They're trying to draw the enemy cavalry towards the walls, where here crossbowmen are firing. The enemy cavalry has come within range of the crossbowmen, and they lost quite a few horsemen there. So this attack of the enemy cavalry has been repulsed by our pikemen and halberdiers. Halberdiers fought more or less as pikemen. They used their halberds as pikes. So our mounted crossbowmen have approached the enemy. Our artillery is firing. And the enemy cavalry and pikemen have come under cannon fire. And there they lost half a dozen horsemen. and another half a dozen knights have been slain. The French knights are being murdered, and they make a decision to attack. This is probably the enemy general's bodyguard here. They've bunched up together, a perfect target for our artillery. And they've changed their mind and are pulling back as far back as possible, out of range of our cannon. And our mounted crossbowmen continue harassing the enemy, never leaving them at peace. So they always feel the urge to countercharge. And they've routed one of the enemy cavalry units, but as they're trying to approach them and take prisoners, another cavalry unit goes to support the unit that's routing. So here's the main army that has sallied out from Vienne. Some enemy pikemen are now approaching, and they're being targeted by our artillery. No, they're archers, they're not pikemen. And the enemy knights come to support their archers. The archers have been routed, but the enemy knights are determined to attack. One of the enemy cavalry units changes their mind, they retreat, but this one charges. Our pikes, not the most clever move.
The battle is in our favor.
In charging our pikemen and halberdiers, they've caused the cannons to fall silent. The cannon crews have pulled away, and now they man the cannons once again as the enemy cavalry has been routed. And here the enemy captain has been engaged in melee with some of our cavalry, some light spearmen or lancers. We have some skirmishes in the distance, and Podesta Pierro has joined the fray.
The enemy general has no honor.
The enemy general flees. He flees the field of battle and abandons his men.
Glorious heaven above.
We've captured the enemy general.
Praise the Almighty! Our enemy has lost his stomach to fight. We must push our advantage.
And the enemy flees. We are victorious. We are now taking prisoners. The French lift the siege. So we've rescued Podesta Pierro. Migianino Detilo has been once again victorious. He has triumphed. The last remaining enemy cavalryman flees. And it looks like he's going to get caught up.
This is a clear victory that goes to only men of great virtue and valor.
So a glorious victory for Migianino Detilo the Mighty and Podesta Pierro. We've lost 251 men. The enemy army has been destroyed. Our Serpentine did very well. Both Serpentines scored a lot of kills. The mounted crossbowman did well. So, a day of victory. We offer the prisoners for ransom.
The king will pay for our return.
They're not ransomed by the French king, so they're thrown into jail or wherever is convenient.
Blessed Lord, we thank you for delivering us.
Thank you for watching.